introduction and for not mentioning my age. Thanks. I'm really grateful. So, as you've heard, I've been in India for 4 years, but more importantly, at Snehalaya for 4 years. So, I first came to Snehalaya in 2011 as volunteer. So like you, I came to visit as a volunteer, and then I kept coming back, and 4 years ago I decided to come see what I could help with in the office. So I'm sure you know, Snehalaya is a fabulous organisation doing loads of great work. I came for 1 year, now 4 years. Like you have over the last few days, I've learned so much about human rights, women's rights, the issues affecting society, not just in India, but the whole world. So when Vishal asked me to speak, he wanted me to speak about our campaign for girls' education with Malala Fund, but he also wanted me to talk about violence against women. But I thought that was a little bit negative, so today I'd rather talk about all of the movement, all of the human rights around women. So there are lots of people doing lots of work to help women become more empowered. So that's what I want to talk about today. So I'm not going to do all the talking. I want to hear from you as well. So I want to know what you know and what you think. So this will be interactive. So I've called this session, Women's Rights are Human Rights. What do you know? Do you know of any conventions, organisations? You know the United Nations?
Yes.
Yes. So the United Nations has issued lots of directives to help improve the situation for gender equality, women's rights. Do you know what United Nations is?
United Nations म्हणजे
It's lots of member countries throughout the world, and India is a member country. So all of these things that I'm going to talk about, India has agreed to as well. Do we think it's the gender balance is fair?
No.
You think we need women's rights?
Yes.
Yeah. So what issues do you think affect women worldwide, not just India, but what are the inequalities?
सांगा कुठल्या कुठल्या बाबतीत असमानता आहे स्त्रिया आणि पुरुषांमध्ये पूर्ण जगभरामध्ये
एज्युकेशन
येस अजून नोकरी जॉब्स
एक 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 हातवरती करा आणि बोला प्रत्येकाचं बोला
जॉब्स येस अजून शिक्षण राईट्स
So I'll just share some facts with you. So when women are involved, the probability of a peace agreement, so where there's conflict or war, if you involve women, any peace agreements will last 2 years, at least 2 years, but only 23.3% of the whole population in the world, and parliamentarians, so prime ministers, presidents, the decision makers in countries, only 23.3% of them are women. We're hearing that women can help broker peace, but they're not in the position to do this at the moment. That's why the world's crazy. You were right about jobs. So women are paid less than men for doing same job. They're paid less. On average, women will only earn 60 to 75% of the same wage a man would get. Fair?
No.
No. And in South Asia, so India and beyond, over 80% of women in non-agriculture jobs are in informal employment. So they have no rights, they have no contract. Also, who stays at home with the children? So they have more responsibility for looking after children, your elders, and people who are sick. So they spend 2 to 10 times more time a day on work that is unpaid, housework, not paid for, but still work. Less than 20% of landowners are women. We don't have land. We're doing unpaid work in the house. We're doing work without contracts. And when we do have a proper job, we're getting paid less. So not only are we not getting the jobs, owning the land, but we're experiencing violence. So violence against women and girls is, again, a worldwide issue, not just India. I know there's high-profile cases here in India, but the same all around the world, not safe for a woman. So 1 in 3 women all across the world experience violence. So think about that. How many females here today? And think of 1 in 3 of us. So 1 of us experience violence. And it's in the home. So 38% of all murdered women are killed by their partner. So the violence is actually someone you know and in your own home. 75% of women in India have reported harassment or abuse. So not formally, please come FRI, but they've experienced it. No, I've experienced it. Walking down the street, a boy bumps into you, or in Ahmednagar, someone grabbed my bum. So even that's violence against women. You don't ask to be touched, but someone will come and just touch you. And then child marriage, big issue. So over 700 million women that are alive today in the world were married before they were 18. And 250 million were married before they were 15. Sorry, that was all very depressing. But there is good news, because there are people who are trying to change this. And it's a real shame that we do have to have special conventions and laws and rights for women, because we should all be equal. So we should have equal rights. But unfortunately, as we've just heard, the situation is not equal. In 1948, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was for all people, but for women included the right to live a life free from violence, slavery, discrimination, to be educated, to own property, to vote, and to earn a fair and equal wage. So all those things that we've just been talking about is written in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights since 1948. So have you heard this before, the UN Declaration of Human Rights? Okay, well now you all know what your rights are. So then in 1981, there was a convention on the elimination of all forms of discrimination against women. So obviously they realised the original convention declaration was not working, so they made a special one for women. And then in 1995, there was a conference on women in Beijing in China, which again declared that there should be more equality for women in every area of life. And then in 2000, another resolution which recognised women's role in peacekeeping. So like we said, if you involve women, reduces conflict. Does anyone know about the Millennium Development Goals or the Sustainable Development Goals? Okay, so this was another actually really important move made by the UN, with all member states agreeing, to help not just the inequalities between gender, but the inequalities between countries. So we have the developed world, the developing world, and these goals are to raise everyone up to an equal level. They were called the Millennium because they were made around 2000, and the aim is to create these equalities by 2030, so there's only 10 years left. So there are 17 goals, and actually when you look into social work, new initiatives made by the government or by organisations such as Snehalaya funders, a lot of them are tied back to these goals. So a lot of change that is happening at the moment is a result of these goals that everybody agreed to. And actually, if everybody committed to these, it would change the world. It would have a positive impact. India's national institution for transforming India is actually doing their planning, so their long-term planning for India as a nation is underpinned again by these sustainable development goals. So if you want to read them, I'm sure you'll find that they relate back to these goals. It'll mention the goals. So as I said, 17, but there are a few that specifically address women's rights as well. So goal number 3 is good health and well-being for people. And within that, so it's very broad for health and well-being for everyone, but for women specifically about reducing adolescent pregnancy. So the big health issues for girls if they give birth too young. Making sure that women get health care, because in the poorest communities it's always the woman who's the last person that will go to the doctor or be admitted to hospital. And family planning, so access to family planning advice, contraception, and maternal health as well. So between 2000 and 2015 there were approximately 303,000 maternal deaths. Goal number 5 is gender equality. So one of the goals is to equal the rights of men and women. And girls, women, should not be viewed as beneficiaries of change, but as agents of change. So we have a responsibility to make this change happen as well. So that has some specific targets to stop child marriage, make sure that legislation supports the empowerment of women and girls, secondary education for all girls, the end to gender discrimination, and empowering women and girls through technology. So technology has always been a male-dominated industry, but now there's a lot of support to get more women into science, technology, engineering. Goal number 6 is clean water and sanitation, and part of that is to make sure that women have good access to toilets and wash facilities that fit their needs. So I don't know, every time I'm in a car driving around India, there's always a man side of the road having a wee.
Yeah.
But for women,
There is no toilet.
yes, it's okay for men. The world is their toilet.
Yeah.
That's true.
Goal number 16
Nine.
is peace, justice and strong institutions. So reducing the violent crime, sex trafficking, forced labour, child abuse. So 71% of people who are trafficked are women and girls. So there's an inequality there with trafficked people. So I would recommend, if you get a chance, look at the Sustainable Development Goals, because they are very good, clear goals for improving the world for everybody. But now my favourite goal, goal number 4, quality education. So, because education is key. So unfortunately, 103 million youths worldwide still lack basic literacy skills, of which more than 60% are women. So I want to hear from you now. So the girls, you all complete 12 standard? Yes? Okay, everyone. If your mum completed 10 standard, put your hand up. Standard, pass.
10वी ज्याच्या कोणाच्या आईनी 10वी पूर्ण.
Keep up. Keep your hands up. Now, did she also complete 12 standard?
12वी पास झाल्या अशा कोणाच्या माता आहेत त्यांनी हाती.
Not 12 standard, hand down.
12वी.
12 standard? So that's about half have gone down. Keep going. Keep your hand up.
ते हात वर.
Okay. Did she do bachelor's, higher education?
ग्रॅज्युएशन किती जणींचं झालंय त्यांनी हात वर. आईच आहे. 2 3
4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
4. Yeah.
So we started with about half 10 standard pass. So half of you, your mother didn't even get to 10 standard. Then it significantly dropped for 12, and then we're left with 4.
Who have done graduation.
So I know you're all educated, you have good education, but one generation ago, not the same situation, and still for many girls and women in India, this is still a sad fact. You know the Right to Education Act?
कोणाला माहिती आहे? Right to education माहिती आहे सगळ्यांना? Yes, everyone knows.
Okay, what age does it
कितव्या
guarantee?
वर्षीपर्यंत कंपल्सरी शिक्षण मिळतं आता राईट टू एज्युकेशन अंडर? एक जण हात वर करा आणि सांगा.
14. From which age? Yeah, 14. And from which age?
किती ते किती 14 वरचा लेवल आहे खालच्या लेवल
6 नहीं फर्स्ट की मतलब 7 है जो
6 to 14. Yeah. So this is why not everybody reaches 12 standard because there's no right beyond 16. And even then, with the 6 to 14, there's still a lot of children that are still not going to school, or when they are going to school, the quality of education is not so good. So they're still remaining illiterate. They still can't do simple maths or spelling, writing. Still, 30% of girls from the poorest families have never even been inside a classroom. 40% of adolescent girls, 15 to 18, so over 14, they're not going to school. And girls are twice as likely to have less than 4 years of schooling than boys. So you all agree education is important?
Yes.
Why? Why is educating a girl important?
टू अंडरस्टँड वन्स राईट्स
Yes.
पुढे बेटर लाईफ जगण्यासाठी ती स्वतःच्या पायावर उभं राहू शकते की स्वतःचा खर्च स्वतः सांभाळू शकते कुणावर डिपेंड नाही राहू शकते
गॉट इट ओके टू हॅव अ बेटर लाईफ अँड बिकम फायनान्शियली इंडिपेंडेंट फाइंड अ प्लेस राईट प्लेस इन द सोसायटी
So
जनरेशन घडवण्यासाठी.
या टू ट्रेन द फ्युचर जनरेशन
yeah. So there's I think Malala said, educate a girl, and you or educate a woman, you educate a community, because your mother is a strong person in your life. If she has good education, then you learn from her. And also healthcare. You need to if you're sick, you go to doctor. You need to understand what he's saying and how to get the prescription. Make sure you're taking the prescription properly. So it has a big impact on healthcare as well. And an educated girl is less likely to be married before 18, and also less likely to give birth, get pregnant too early as well. And for every year you spend at school, your earning potential goes up by 10%, which is all of these are really good reasons why Malala Fund exists. You all know Malala?
मला माहिती आहे
Yes. So her fund asked Snehalaya to help them promote girls' education in Ahmednagar, but also in India. There was a film, He Named Me Malala, documentary about Malala's history and when she got shot. And Snehalaya organised this event, first in Mumbai and then in different communities around Ahmednagar district. The Chief Minister of Maharashtra came to the first screening in Mumbai, and he pledged that he would try to change the Right to Education Act in Maharashtra to 18. Has it happened?
No.
We need to go see him.
he's not the
Same one, it's not the same one.
त्याच्यावर अजूनही बोललं जातंय आणि प्रोव्हिजन चालू आहे सगळं चालू आहे म्हणजे आताही त्या संदर्भात खूप वेळा बोललं गेलं
yeah
की
nothing
वयोगट
has
18
happened
वर्षापर्यंत.
and now the
See, this is
CM has changed.
and this is why we're talking to you today, because we have all these agreements, we know all these very sad, depressing facts, but as long as it's just a document, nothing will happen. It needs you, me, everybody to do what we can to support these goals, these conventions, these rights. So it's a shame that you didn't know some of these rights that already exist, and that is the same everywhere. I mean, I don't think I really knew until I started working at Snehalaya, but if we all knew our rights, then we know what to ask for to make sure we get it. So please look them up and let everybody know. Tell everyone that we all have rights that we're entitled to. So our first Malala campaign was the film, and then our second one was called Educate, Empower, Lead. And this was really powerful because we recruited girls to become peer mentors and deliver sessions to other girls. So we now have a network of peer educators. So when we went out into schools, communities, it wasn't me speaking, it was the girls. So aged 13 to 17, they would do presentations, run activities, and talking about rights to other girls the same age, which is much more powerful than me going, especially me in English.
Street plays also.
Street plays,
Oh,
yes,
part of-
Vishal,
part of-
sorry.
oh.
Lots of street plays.
Oh,
It was very successful. So we reached over 30,000 people with our first campaign, and then over 3,000 girls aged 13 to 17 with our second campaign. So now wherever I go, people shout, "I am Malala" to me, which is great. My time is up, but before I go, I just want to do one quick exercise. So I want
Nice.
all of you to think about, if you're out, say 9 o'clock in the evening, on your own, what do you have to think about? What security, safety measures do you have to take? And I would like to hear from the boys first.
Today, when he was coming to the camp, he got down at 12:30 at the bus stand, and then he got down at 2:30 at the bus stand, and then by the time he reached, it was 4:30 because he didn't get any vehicle to come. But still, he feels that he feels safer in the city than in the village or rural areas, and he feels that one has to adopt to one's surrounding. But what I feel is, he feared more for his money or the valuables which he was carrying than anything else.
Yeah, were you worried? Were you watching?
सगळीकडे लक्ष असं देऊन चालत होतास का? पैसे आहेत माझ्याकडे आहेत. Yes.
And did you have anything ready in case someone attacked you?
मतलब असं काही नव्हतं असं.
No, he didn't have.
This really good weapon.
Anyone else?
आणि तिला मी तलवार ठेवलेली.
Yeah, it has a small knife. His keychain has a knife. Okay, anyone else?
So boys, do you think about what you're wearing? Are you carrying something? Would you be on your own 9 o'clock at night?
No.
No?
No one is afraid.
Oh, no one's afraid?
No one's afraid. All boys, huh?
Oh, yeah. Okay, same question, girls. Would you be outside?
So first of all, I won't be allowed to go out at 9 p.m. सबसे पहली बात, मुझे 9 बजे के बाद घर से परमिशन ही नहीं मिलेगी कि तुम बाहर जाओ.
अकेले.
And even if I stay in hostel, so the curfew is 9 p.m. only.
Okay.
मेरे हॉस्टल का लास्ट टाइम घुसने का वो 9 बजे ही है. उसके बाद मैं अंदर जा सकते हैं, बाहर नहीं जा सकते.
Okay, 8:30. Would you be out on your own?
8:30.
Dark?
Even if I go out, I might take
someone
one
with
of my friend with me.
Why?
Security reasons. Like, you never know what might happen.
Yeah, so when they were traveling till Lucknow in a train, and their tickets were not confirmed, so all the girls were feeling unsafe because there were only 10 boys and 30 girls, but still the girls were feeling unsafe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why are girls not allowed out after 9 o'clock?
का बरं
This is like
permission
prison. So 9 o'clock, you all have to stay in prison. Boys can go outside, but girls inside.
फर्स्टली सोसायटीमध्ये हे सगळं होतं आहे की टाईम कोणता पण असो, प्लेस कोणतीही असो, की रेप केसेस किंवा दुसऱ्या कोणत्या केसेस घडतात, त्यामुळे घरच्यांची इन्सिक्युरिटी तर असतेच की तू लेट बाहेर जातेस तर नको जाऊ. आणि दुसरी गोष्ट अशी असते की जेव्हा आपण एकटं बाहेर असतो किंवा बाहेर फिरत असतो, तर बघणाऱ्यांचा दृष्टिकोनही आपल्याकडे थोडाफार वेगळा असतो किंवा त्यांच्या नजरा वेगळ्या होतात. आणि तिसरं म्हणजे सोसायटी तर असतेच की एवढं लेट नाईट फिरते वगैरे, आणि मग घरच्यांना ते टेन्शन असतंच की एवढं लेट नाईट फिरणं नको. बरोबर नाही आहे. फ्रीडम याच्यासाठी नाही आहे की घरच्यांची इन्सिक्युरिटी याच्यासाठी आहे की सोसायटीवर कोणी बिलीव्ह करत नाही, की त्यांनी आपल्याला असं ट्रस्ट दिला नाही की तुम्ही कुठेही फिरा, कसेही फिरा, की तुम्ही सेफ नाही.
Is this fair? Is this fair?
No.
Is this fair? Sang, बोल ना. No.
So for me, it is like prison. So after 9 o'clock, the girls have to be locked inside. Boys, you can do whatever you want. No problem. So this is another inequality. Why do I will not walk around Ahmednagar on my own after 9 o'clock at night because it's not safe. But that's not right. Why should I not feel safe?
When there is a rape is going to happen, it happens whatever, in spite of whatever you're wearing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because in the West, when there's rape case, people will judge what the girl was wearing. Your skirt was too short, your top was too low, you were asking to be raped. So maybe if you're wearing tight clothes, Western clothes, maybe you're asking to be raped. Boys, you ever worry about what you're wearing? Ever worry your t-shirt is too tight? The trousers are too short? I did, as part of Malala campaign, because actually lots of women wear sari. I love sari, beautiful. I hate wearing sari, so uncomfortable. I can't even walk. So we did interesting exercise with boys. If you come to Snehalaya now, you'll see boys playing football. We asked them to wear sari and play football. So they did, they put sari on, they were good sports, but then they lifted them up and were running around like this. So proving the point that this is another restriction. Women wearing sari, they can't move as fast. I can't do anything in a sari. And then also, next week we're going to the beach, we're going to Goa. Very excited. Who's been to the ocean?
समुद्रावर कोण कोण गेले सगळे
Okay, everyone's been to the ocean.
Yeah.
Who's been swimming in the ocean?
पोहायला कोण कोण गेलंय एवढी बंद
Okay, one girl. When you go to beach, girls, what do you wear?
ड्रेसिंग स्टाईल्स कशी असतात त्या पद्धतीने ते म्हणतात.
सिरियसली ड्रेसिंग स्टाईल shorts, t-shirts, muli, all girls also.
Okay. But I think sometimes quite restrictive, the clothes that girls have to wear. Boys, you just strip down to underpants. It's straight in. Girls, you have to be covered.
Yeah.
So when I go to Goa, I will see big men with pot bellies, pants, like having great times, splashing. And then women in sari, just like tiptoeing in, coming back out. No swimming. Again, not fair. Okay. Lots of things have just been going for so many years. They're ingrained. It's going to be a really long, hard, upward struggle still to get full gender equality. But I really want you all to commit to this. But particularly, education is key. The more you know, the more power you have to stand up for your rights, to know your rights, and make sure you have your rights, which is what Snehalaya is about. We empower women so they know what they're entitled to and they get their full entitlement and are empowered. So because education is so important, I would love it if you could all pledge with Malala. So you all have these cards. Yeah? Start.
मी शपथ घेते जे काय म्हणायचं असेल मी बालिकांना शिक्षित करणे त्यांना सक्षम बनविणे आणि त्यांच्यातील नेतृत्व गुण जोपासण्यासाठी मलाला आणि स्नेहालय परिवारासोबत उभं राहण्याचे अभिवचन देते मी माझ्या कुटुंबात समाजात देशात मुलींच्या शिक्षणाबद्दल जागरूकता निर्माण करून भारतीय संविधानातील माझ्यासाठी नमूद केलेल्या मूलभूत कर्तव्यांचे मी निष्ठेने पालन करीन शिक्षणात समानतेचा प्रचार करून याद्वारे मुलींच्या संरक्षणासाठी आणि बालकांचे लैंगिक शोषण रोखण्यासाठी कार्य करण्याची मी प्रतिज्ञा करते
चला आपण आपले भविष्य घडविण्यासाठी आणि आजचे स्वप्न उद्याची वास्तविकता बनवण्यासाठी एकत्र येऊया. जय
बोलो भारत माता की जय.
And remember, women's rights are human rights.
ओके.
Women's
महिलांचे हक्क म्हणजेच मानव हक्क आहेत. ओके. त्यामुळे महिलांना मानव म्हणून संधी द्या, जगण्याची संधी द्या. ठीक आहे. थँक्यू.
Thank you.